welcome again to another round one analysis replay of John and Steve's game, S57. I don't recall the name, but S57. It has a small hill on it. They've winterized the map. It's got a lot of scenario special rules, a couple of hip units, a hip gun. You've got partisans in terms of 426s that come on the map, lots of units, lots of toys, demo charges. Russians come on, attack a village. They need two buildings, one that they can possibly get to, one's a little more trickier to get to, and we'll see how John and Steve approach their game with their thoughts, their strategy thoughts, and the tips that they have. And let's get into it, and thanks for watching. So, but keep in mind that bullshit second machine gun, and essentially the AA gun's a machine gun as well, right? It's a 6 firepower, 2 rate of fire machine gun. I mean,
correct.
So they have lots of firepower, and to be honest with you, the best terrain you're going to be in, John, is what?
Well, for me, the woods.
Yeah, the woods are open ground. I mean, because the buildings, at least where you come on, are kind of like, honestly, not really where you want to be, because if you're in that building, to leave the building, you got to move out in the open ground. So the woods is essentially your best cover. R5 is absolutely the worst friggin' hex in this entire game.
Yeah, we found that out. I think there's about 4 or 5 squads, from both sides died right there. So
that was busy.
The only spot that can't see it is 07. I mean, freaking J3 can see that location before 07. I mean, that is just a hot spot. So, I mean, go ahead.
No, I was just going to mention with the movement restriction because of the snow, even like going up into a woods hill hex is a no-go, because the rule says elevation changes up and down require 1 additional movement factor.
Right, we'll cover that.
Yeah. So I kind of felt like the hill was probably not going to be much of a threat.
Right now, John, what do you see? Obviously, you saw this on the map. It's like, okay, I'm going to make my way through the forest, and the stupid 426s don't even come on until turn 2, which I think is just, I mean, just ridiculous in this particular scenario, to be honest with you. But I don't know what the balance is on that, but these guys with, I think, now how many movement factors does a conscript unit have? Let me turn my lights off.
They're not conscript. They're considered partisans.
Oh, 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
so they don't ELR and they're not inexperienced by us.
Because they don't have 337s.
So it's a little bit different there. So
nice. Okay. Okay. So that makes it. So what are the strengths and limitations of your OB, John? Obviously, we know the German strengths and limitations. Strengths are essentially 3 medium machine guns. His leadership's really not there. I mean, he's going to have 4 leaders. He actually has 4 leaders in the game, which is actually a lot. So with the Germans having 4 leaders, right?
They only get 3.
Well, you've got 1 hip, right? And 1 comes on.
Oh, well, no, I didn't hip a leader.
Oh, you didn't hit the leader?
No.
Oh, okay. So he'll have 3 leaders. He'll have 3 leaders. So
that was part of my ruse a little bit. I wanted that 8-0 leader to be over here to support these guys in the I row and down here in G, in case John decided to come that way.
Yep.
I wanted to give them a place to route to.
Yeah, in case he got. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and the guy on the hill in L4, he was kind of there just to maybe take a sneak shot at I2 or H1 if he chose that route, because those were. Yeah, I2's definitely open. H1 was pretty close. I didn't think he'd come up the hill, but I just wanted to get another shot if he decided to use that side of the board.
Right.
I didn't see any reasonable expectation of a success on coming in on the western side of the board. I mean that
I agree.
Far away, no CX, and it was just okay. It was going to be 4 turns before I got to the victory condition buildings. And that just wasn't gonna play, and there's way too much open ground to get there.
Especially with his 4.67s, right? I mean, if he had 4.47s over there, especially this guy down here, and if this guy was if they were all 4.47s, that's approachable. But 4.67, 4.67, and 4.47, that you're looking at 6 shots. and
Well,
that's
6 shots
bad.
that I know of, and I don't
Exactly.
know where the hip. I don't know where the hip MMG is, and I don't know where the Flak 38 is. So
Right.
it was, the woods became my friends real quick. I mean, that the
Right.
intelligence prep of the battlefield, took about 20 seconds, saying, okay, there's one avenue of approach, and that's about it. And what sort of supporting fires can I set up to go that way? But anyhow, answering your question, the biggest advantage I saw was the majority of my force had 8 morale factor. I
Right.
mean, and for Russians, that is so unusual.
Yeah.
And I wound up having 3 leaders, which is on par, just a little bit above average. One was with the partisans as it came on, and then believe it or not, during the game, I actually spawned one out of a
Yeah, I saw that.
route. So
Yeah.
that was kind of neat. So at one time on the board, I actually had 4 leaders, which
Yeah.
was great. But
that was impressive.
I had that was my strength. Beyond that, I've got essentially 2 axes of advance that I can come on. Coming in from the north and the east, but that's sort of countered by the reinforcements that Steve's getting from the south. And so, since they could come on anywhere along the southern edge of the map, I had to be very careful where those partisans came on, because I didn't want them out there flapping someplace, just in the Germans come on, immediately after I finished my movement phase and hose them all down. So
Right.
I was trying to set up maybe a little bit of a fire trap, but he avoided that very easily. I had the light machine gun with the tree people, was down in Z9, I think. And
right.
I figured I'd be able to get a long shot, across the bottom of the board. And of course, he came on, at hex number 13, which is one hex beyond, long range shots.
Well,
so.
yeah, you forced him to kind of, well, if he wasn't planning on that, you kind of pushed him to that distance anyway. So that was a good idea, because like you said, if he knew you were going to come in the forest, he could just bring that force. As a matter of fact, that's kind of what I did in my mock. Like, okay, if I move these guys, how would the Germans come on? And I literally legit just brought the 7-0 and just rushed them this way to try and intercept the partisans, just to slow their advance, and just to see kind of how it would kind of like look in the game. So I didn't really play it out. I just said, okay, let's play army and move these guys.
Partisans wound up being flank security, sort of along this area down here. Just sort of keep guys from hooking into the backside. Since we had the main force coming down from the north, I didn't want anybody sneaking up, on the backside, possibly meeting them about right here.
Right. Yeah, that was huge.
And I figured I'd be able to overwhelm these guys fairly early on. But
good Lord, man. So
yeah. And but again, you're talking about my strengths. Maybe I put too much faith in that the 8 morale of most of my guys.
That's what I do.
Thought they'd be able to. I thought they'd be able to weather the storm, a little bit better than most.
Yeah, you were rolling right above it. That's unfortunate.
They did okay. The die roll for this whole game, was just about spot on even.
Right.
I mean, it was there's a couple of things one way or another, but I think we were within about, let me see here real quick. It was we were within, I think 0.2 of a point of each other. Yeah, so it was basically 7s across the board.
Okay. So we're gonna run through the scenario as you guys portrayed it, and like I said, after about the second or third time I ran through it, I kind of latched onto something, and I want your guys' idea on that. Like I say, it's just a different approach, but it's something different, and I want to go through your game to see what you see, what the enemy's doing, and to see how you can counter it. And that's where the basis of my thoughts were, based on his setup here. Now, I forgot, like you said, 2 hexes from, and hell, his medium machine gun could be sitting right here. So
Yeah.
if you bring these sons of bitches on in like a stack, I mean, vrap, you know, 8-2. I mean, that's a bitch. But knowing that they have 4 movement points or movement factors makes a big difference. I'm used to seeing conscript and 3 movement factors. So when you were moving 2 hexes in the woods, like, what the hell's going on here? I know John knows how far conscripts move. I'm not, so it had to be an SSR. But that's cool. That explains a lot. So
I actually was thinking about X5 as a possible setup location.
yeah, that's sick. This is just sick as hell.
Oh wow, that would have been something.
And initially, I had the 4.67 with the light machine gun there.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Because and then I had the 4.47 that was in M6 sitting where that squad and light machine gun is now. But the thing that kind of pulled me away from that was the movement restriction. Where would he go after turn 1, and did I really want him to sit around for turn 2, depending on how far these 4.58s got? And I just felt like he was going to be out of place in turn 2 if I didn't do something with him differently. So
okay, it's really funny.
You would have had to have a leader out there too to rally those guys if you had them that far out, and that would have really just stretched the force thin.
Okay, check
yeah,
this
I
out.
would have had to. You're right. I would have had to put a leader out there.
Check this out to be a tricky dick, right? Right. You've got these guys. We're going to move here. I cloned them. You're going to set these guys up here. So he sees them here, right?
Yeah.
He sees them here, or maybe a squad or whatever. But the 4.67 3, be a tricky dick here, right? Hip the machine gun and the 4.67 under him, because these guys come on turn 2. Turn 1, he goes to the trees and says, okay, I'm going to react to that. 2 for advance, and then these guys just come waltzing right here.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been brutal.
It would have been all dead.
That would have been sick as hell. That's tricky as hell, but that's putting all these guys on one side, but yeah, that could, I mean, a medium, I mean, I would just there's nothing I would do. I would just, and of course if he doesn't see X, he goes 1 2 3, and then if he's looking for advance, I mean, at that point you just blast the guys in the back, and anyway, you're probably going to lose him like turn 1, but
no CX because of the snow.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So he can't even enter here unless it's the leader.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my gosh. Yeah. That's
So there's a lot of feeling around. Like oh man, you talked a couple of days ago about the battle of the 1 hex. And I wish I could get just 1 hex further. And that was so true about half a dozen times for both of us in this game.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So again, like I said, I didn't know the setup. So the setup actually brings a lot. So technically, the Germans can be anywhere in this essentially forested areas. He could have a lot of shit here if he wanted to, that hidden unit, which can slow them down for a turn. And you're barely within range on the left-hand side over here. These are stretches. So there's not going to be anybody in the middle here, and there's not going to be anyone on the back side over here. So if he's here, it's probably not going to be over there. And most likely he's probably going to be in a building. I would suspect the medium may be down in this area, the medium or the AA gun, just to cover this approach. I mean that just seems logical to put a guy over here. Obviously he's not there, but this might have been a strategy of Steve to say, hey, look, it's all open. Come on down. You're the next contestant, and then just blast the shit out of you. Because this guy can easily reach you.
It worked out quite well for him. Because I wasn't able to spike that gun until basically it was not even a factor anymore. I mean, he got lots of good shots out of that thing, right, in multiple different directions too.
Okay, so what I'm going to hopefully try to focus on is again, I think you played it pretty well. There's only 1 or 2 little things about minimizing the Germans' damage, but if you can't pass a morale check, it's hard. So No, this guy coming on first, what was his objective?
His objective was to get into the building at R1, R2, sort of flush that out, make sure it was clean, because I was going to put my medium machine gun at R2. And that was going to set up sort of, I know we don't have them, but for lack of a better term, sort of a fire lane down to about right there.
Yeah, and absolutely.
That was going to interdict the forces coming over from the west.
Yep.
And I figured that that would sort of push them at least slow him down a bit, while I got these guys through the woods up here and basically in the assembly areas here before they made the push for the victory condition objectives.
Right. So these are orchards, right? These are out of season orchards, but they're still orchards. Although, did you see the shot coming off of him right at the beginning? I mean,
no, because it was hip.
Oh, the hip. I thought this guy fired him because that's still that's still
yeah. No, I revealed the hip in K7.
Right, but he fired the squad anyway. And he got a 3. That's still a 2-2, no big deal. I would kind of laugh it off because you got 8 morale, but when you roll 3, there's not really much you can do. But you want to move. But you wanted to move the medium here, right? So you're going to be taking a shot in S1 from this guy. When you move. Right. So what will the residual be at that location if this guy moved there first? Let's say he was stacked here and he goes 1, 2, 3, and then advance. What would that shot be from this guy? Would
have been 2.
That'd be 2 even?
No, 1, I think. 1. Yeah, through the orchard, yeah.
2, yeah, to be 1. Yeah, 1, so 1's not too bad. But yeah, this is a long shot. This is a 2 much. It's, it's kind of neither here nor there, but, it's something. That kind of sucks. This really sucks. I gotta be honest with you. This probably hurt you more than almost anything else in the game. To be honest,
I don't disagree.
Well, I mean, just one less squad is like shit, man. I thought I had 9 squads to play with. Now I got 8.
Yeah,
it's like holy, because nobody else has moved and the first squad's gone. It's like, oh man, what other traps am I gonna fall into? So, but at least you know where the medium is. So this was huge.
And John was thinking the exact same thing I was thinking. I did not want anybody, especially that medium machine gun, to be in that building.
Yeah.
That was my goal, was to try to prevent that. And I figured if I had if I could shoot at that R0 hex from someplace, get some residual in it, that would be unexpected, 1, and 2 would hopefully prevent anybody else from trying to go that way.
Right. Okay. Now the medium.
Steve was able to read the likely avenues of approach almost perfectly. I mean, he had just about everything covered, in the center and the west, that he chose. So
yeah, well,
yeah. So the medium,
it worked out.
We're gonna revisit the medium as well, because when you go here, like you say, is that medium going to be moving very much in this game?
No.
Right. It's pretty much it's like the AA gun. You can't really move it very far. It's slow as hell. You can't meld it. So. Yeah, it's just a pain in the ass. The Russian mediums are a pain in the ass. They're good to have, but they're just a pain in the ass. So we're gonna focus on this. Okay, you're just moving your guys up here. That's right. You can't. Jesus, you can't CX. That's right. 1, 2, 3. Now, okay, we'll get to the thing. So you guys obviously just making your approaches here. Yep, 2, 4. Yeah, the lines of sight. Oh my God, man, this is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me you make the task checks. Okay, cool. And 2, 4. Is that 6? Is this advanced phase or?
That was advanced.
Oh, okay, okay. That's your first. I think your first advance.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and he fires his gun. You advanced fire that?
Yep. So I revealed the.
All right. You moved him a little fast. He should have only had 5 movement factors, but that's okay. No big deal. Just because the medium's a bit heavy. So, but that's fine.
You're right. I did do that one too many.
That's right. You got the AA to come out a turn early, so that's the benefits. Oh, what the hell? You actually DM'd it on the first turn. That's right. So he routes back. Yeah. Okay. Now this is another thing. When you break his units, can you stop his routes? Can you stop any of his routing? Essentially, is he free to route wherever he wants to, kind of?
At this point, yes.
Right. So you won't be able to really trace down or track down any of these guys to beat them up until later. I saw you had a really good move at the bottom. That was really excellent. And then everyone advances, which is about all you can do.
Yeah.
He preps, and then you're missing morale checks just like by 1. It's just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And then notice over here on the left what's happening. All of his guys are coming. We're going to revisit this in a bit.
Totally unhindered.
Yeah.
And that's something I wanted to talk about too when we got to the point later in the game. Those two squads that are currently in K5.
All right. Look at your.
I'm not.
Talk to me about your mortar right there at that location between M7 and your mortar, John.
It was. I was going to use it, try to help sort of clean out Q5, and or possibly get it into R2 to pick up where
the medium should have been, right?
Where the medium went off, and then I did a huge faux pas in about a turn and a half where I caught one of his. I got the mortar into R1, and I caught one of his squads out there in the open, and was able to break it. And then I realized, shit, I'm firing a mortar out of a building.
Yeah, I'm glad you caught that. I'm glad you caught that. I'm glad you caught that.
That was unforgivable on my part.
That's okay. It happens. It happens. It's probably because you lost that guy right in the beginning. To be honest with you, losing a guy in the beginning can really throw a plan out of whack. It can really.
That knocked my personal morale check down a little bit. So yeah.
Yeah, I had about 5 of them. I had about 4 task checks last night, and I failed every single one of them. So.
Oh my.
But yeah, look for these bullshit LOSs, because even if you're gonna save the mortar for here, that squad has got a two even on that guy right there. So you want to. Plus, it's a medium machine gun, so this should bring a lot of attention to your movement. Every once in a while, clear the map, take a look at it. I mean, that's a tricky LOS. Is that clear? It's close.
Totally missed that. Yeah.
It's a close one, so not a big deal. Especially if you're
real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're focused on something like this.
Yeah, he had one hindrance, but that would have been.
Yeah. I mean, again, but if like I say, if you're focused on here, you're focused on there, which is fine because you've got targets on him. He could at least try to DM him or shoot him with a mortar, shoot this guy, shoot this guy.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. But especially if it's a medium, if it's a 4.47 running, it's like, But a medium, pay attention where his big guns are going. 9-1 liters, pay attention where these guys are going. Demo charges, right? I mean, we saw what happened with the demo charges. They got fired at every single time they could have. And
absolutely,
they were getting beat up. Got to keep track of that.
That was basically about the only that was their biggest function, was just sort of being bullet magnets, because they just I was able to use one, I think, on the last turn, but it didn't. It was after the issue was decided. So
right, we're going to revisit the DCs here in just a second. This is a good shot here. That's a good shot when he moves all those guys in there. That's huge.
Yeah,
you get a lucky shot there. That's pretty much GG. If you get a critical hit on this guy, I mean, obviously 1 in 36 chance to get a critical hit. It's only going to affect one of them, but that would be a sweet shot to make up.
I'd already done that to Steve once before, and I didn't want to do it again.
Yeah, you want to do it every damn game, John.
Yeah.
You got to be consistent.
And when I saw him call that shot, I said, "Oh, yeah, I think I missed that one."
Yeah. What broke this guy? Oh, was the return fire?
Yeah, I think it was the return shot in the advanced fire phase.
Oh, okay. Oh, we're in the route phase. Wow, I skipped that pretty quick. 2. Oh my God, there's a shitload of guys there already. Okay, all right. 2. Right, we can't go forward. We can't even make the 9-1. He has to come back. That sucks.
Yep.
You can't even make to the 9-1. That sucks. All right. Yeah, again, like you say, 8 morale. You gotta be up. So notice what's happening in the village. What's happening in the village right now? He's kind of like it's getting busy.
Yeah, real busy.
Real busy. So
it turned into a city slog real quick.
Now, like you said, these guys the partisans were going to come through the forest and be a supporting staff to these guys.
Exactly.
I like that. Why don't you necessarily want to come this way? I mean, although it's going to your victory location, right? Let's say all these guys get over into these locations over here. What do you have to deal with at that point?
Got way too much open ground.
Right. And that's one.
You only have one leader back there to rally people and/or get them moving. More than 4 hexes. And
is he going to rally much? Is he going to rally much at all when these guys break?
No.
They have to be non-DM'd, and even that's a 7 in rally terrain. So that's even questionable right there. He's essentially like an offensive thing. Another thing you have to worry about, you've got open ground, you've only got 1 leader, and what else do you have? You got 2 other things.
Well, I've got one light machine gun down there.
Okay.
And that's
the 2 other detriments. 2 other detriments about going this way. With the 4.26s.
Back on that way?
Yeah, if you bring the 4.26s.
Well, everything's going to be a long range shot until you get into the buildings right next to the VCOs.
Right.
So
right. And to get to that, you got to go through open ground.
Yeah.
Well, most of them will be hindered, but you know, it's not fun. And the last thing, which you hate the most about those partisans. What do you hate the most about those partisans?
No, there's not enough of them, but
morale. Their 6 morale is absolute garbage.
Well, so that's true.
Even if you do get over here, he's got you on range, he's got you on morale, and he's got you on TEM. That's like a trip, you know, that's like a hat trick of nastiness. So so you bringing him over through here, we'll get to that. And I like that idea. When I saw it, it's like, oh, okay, this is a good deal because this is a death trap. Especially like you said, if the Germans come on, because they're coming on. I mean, he's got 3 squads and a leader and a light. He's got a lot of firepower. I mean, if you're here, all he has to do is sit here or like here, and he wins that battle all day long. He's got range, he's got morale.
Oh, absolutely.
And he's got firepower. So, I mean,
also, if I had him up in here, you know, once they, you know, 1, 2, and then 3, you know, hopefully,
right.
They're able to get up there. And if nothing else, you know, I can use their bodies, you know, as bullet sponges, you know, crossing the street, you know, going in the push against the victory condition buildings.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And if anything, I mean, obviously he's going to have a 16 firepower here. Throw 1 body there. If he fires, you know, he's going to be first fired. And even though it's 8 residual, the 4.58s can take an 8 even versus a 16 even much more easier. So that's what I like about it.
Well, I was using an awful lot of trying to bait shots, you know, this time because he had multiple machine guns. You know, he's got
it's nasty.
Medium there, and the 20A right there. You know, that can go, you know, northeast and northeast and southeast.
Okay.
I mean, he's got that fire lane, you know, all the way down that road.
Yeah.
And so I was
true that.
Just
true that.
A whole lot of nastiness there that I needed to try to keep him busy, you know, while people are doing other things.
Yeah. I like this. This is good pressure here. This is really good pressure here because that means, oh shit, you know, this is kind of open a little bit. I like that.
I pulled a Stackberg there, you know, I got a little bit too brave, and he DM'd an entire stack, you know, with that light machine gun squad.
Okay,
you know,
we're going to visit that right now. You got this guy, and you got this stack, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your advanced phase comes, those guys go there, that guy to demo charge goes here. Which stack is this guy going to fire at? Which hex is he going to fire?
Fired at the 3 4.58s.
Right. What you might want to do next time, put 1 4.58er here, make them equivalent stacks. So he fires at one or the other. And if he splits it, then you're even better. So if he breaks 1 stack, you still got 16 firepower in his face. So it's like, oh shit, I might be able to take 8, but I can't take 16 in a demo. Whereas this is an obvious shot. And I was covering some other guys in the Colville one, which I haven't released yet. If you give him the only shot, essentially that's the only shot that the 4.67 can take. There's no way he can attack this unit because this guy's a demo. I mean, this guy has a demo, so you got a demo here, but this guy got a demo, but he's got 2 free squads that you get to fire at as well. So he has no other target to fire at but that stack. But if you put one here, you have to make him, okay, do I want to fire? And if I do fire, I'm still taking a 16 chart. So do I back up? And if I back up, can somebody, I mean, obviously nobody's up here right now. If I can back up, can someone support that shot back? It doesn't have to happen all the time, but that helps you a lot. So you essentially gave him no choice.
You're right. Yeah, that.
But to shoot at that guy. Yeah,
Being
even
a
though they
little
came
bit
from
too
two different
obvious.
directions, you know, split them up and try to make an even. I mean, you did the same thing right here, right? You know, a good even line of troops. I mean, this is solid. That's a solid line. Just strengthen this guy right here just a little bit more to make his decision more difficult. I mean, I would probably shoot the guy in the road simply because he's got more mobility than this guy anyway. Because this guy can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, I can't see X. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then advance. So technically, that guy can make it here. So he's a priority target anyway. Any units in this location is a priority target. But yeah, that's the only thing there is just make sure you don't put all your eggs in one basket, and split them up to make them even. Because you don't need a leader. There's no leader there anyway. So that's just the one thing I saw. And these guys are advancing up through here. And oh yeah, you kept this guy here absolutely for that shot there. That's a good spot.
Yeah.
That's the perfect idea about that. And so these little buggers have to come over here. And remember, where's he gonna go? Where's that stack of crap gonna go?
He winds up in P9, which was a good flanking position because that gave him a clear line of shot up here and close enough to where he could reinforce the victory condition buildings right here.
Okay, what's happening in the village right now? This is turn 2.
Every building is turned into a guest house, and there's a whole bunch of Herms there.
Yeah.
So
you've got a wave of units coming over here freely to be able to maneuver. So this I've seen this in a couple games, and I gotta be honest with you, this is where kind of ASL kind of just devolves into just dice rolling, to be honest with you. I don't like it in my games. I don't like it when I see other people. Essentially, it turns into an operational game. You've got your battalion, your core units over here on the Western Front, and you've got these guys in trenches on World War I, and essentially you're just blasting each other at that point. We're going to address this in just a second.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it turned into. There was just not a whole lot of, there was minor attempts at flanking moves, but they just weren't successful.
Right. Now, you do have the advantage. I think you still have the advantage because of your morale and your demo charges. So you can make life real interesting if you happen to get a demo charge up close, especially like if this guy retreated and one guy went here and planted a demo charge, you get shot, and the other guy going here and planted a demo charge. One of those demo charges getting through. And so what were you going to use your demo charges? Right now, who's your demo charge target? You've got 2 of them, mind you.
I've got 2 of them, and it's being one-shot weapons. I wanted to make sure that I had those available to me fairly late in the game, in case I needed to clear out somebody in a hurry in a victory in a VC building.
Okay.
So that was my thought process. I didn't want to use them gratuitously early on. I wanted to hang on to them and get them where they needed to be, down here and over here. And as it turned out, the only thing I was able to use it on, I think, was right there in the orchard in Q7.
Yeah.
And that was top of turn 6, and it really didn't matter at that point.
Yeah, that's kind of problematic. What I've discovered, and I've only discovered this recently, let's say he's got the medium squad, and let's say he has another squad there, and you move, like this German unit's not there. Let's say this demo comes up here, and nobody else is around, just that stack, and you want to take that stack out. You assault move, like let's say you have a leader with it, so he can assault move and place it, right? So you get full modifier, even if it's +2. If it says it's a building, you get a +2 modifier. You try to throw a demo charge on that stack of 12 firepower. He's going to have 24 firepower coming at you, and guess what? He's going to have 2 shots because he's going to have the first fire on your first movement factor in the 2 movement factor location, whether it's a building, woods, whatever, and then so he'll have a 24, and he'll follow up with another 12.
Yep.
That's hard to survive, even if he rolls a 7. 7 plus 2 is a 2 morale check. That means you roll 6. What I've discovered, again, because especially like not in city fights, because you don't have a lot of smoke, right? So you're not gonna have anybody. No smoke. If you had smoke, you would throw smoke there, and then that's a freebie, right? Because he's not gonna scratch you at that point, and they just throw the demo charge. But what I've discovered is is if there's a spot, not that there's one right here, nor was there one that may have developed that I really saw where the demo charges were going to come into play, but let's say this little bastard was just, I mean, right now, like you've got 3 guys here just blowing up, right? So they're going to be out of it for at least a turn. He is essentially stopping your entire force. So what I like to use, especially if you have 2 demo charges, yes, we want to use them in the strongholds. Think about the demo charge not as a you're going to kill somebody, it's an automatic break on a unit. When you push that on a unit, he's automatically going to break. That's what I think of it as. And it's like, do I need that guy broken this turn so I can move or act or do something or run away? Do I need that unit broken right now? And that's what I've been focusing on my demo charge usage. The results are yet to be analyzed effectively, but sometimes, I mean, last night I broke a guy's leader. The other guy went fanatic and created a hero, so, you know, whatever. so the results are varied.
From the swings you pick up on the merry-go-rounds.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's what I'm focused on. Again, there's a lot of units here. So, yeah, holding on to it's fine. But just make sure that when you look at the demo charge, it's I need that unit broken. Whether it's a single squad, whether it's a leader with a squad that maybe he's the only leader in the area and he's going to move next turn to rally like 4 units that aren't DM'd. Maybe break that son of anything to break that guy to stop him from going on. But yeah, I saw that you really didn't have a window where those demo charges were going to come into play based upon, you know, this is Jesus. That whole stack is just killer. So anyway, his units are just kind of flowing. That's a sweet shot. Unfortunately, it's blocked. But that's what I like to see. That's what I like to see right there. Is taking that shot there. It's close. I mean, it's close by any stretch of the imagination. And so that's a good shot to take. And you know, luckily you didn't mouth your weapon, and that's cool. So, but he essentially has this bullshit wall of units, right, that we have here. He's got lots of firepower. So the partisans are going to have a bad day because shooting across, he has terrain and morale, and you have a little bit less terrain here. But that's, I mean, you can't really do anything about that. Again, because your attack was kind of thwarted. This guy, this is a good shot right here. You got a good shot on that guy and DM'd him. Huge, because now your forces can move up and bear firepower on your objectives. At least that front of you. That's tougher than shit. I gotta be honest with you. If I see this and I'm you right now, John, it's like Jesus Christ. How long is this scenario? you know, because that's. I
thought it was going to be a pretty early night, to be honest with you. Yeah, because I was still kind of reeling. You know, this is basically his. What is it? This is even. I don't even think it's turn 2. It's bottom turn 1, isn't it? No, it's turn 2.
Yeah, turn 2.
Bottom turn 2.
Yeah.
And you know, I still haven't taken any of his units off the board.
Right.
I mean, they're still, and his one DM'd unit, you know, is sitting there in a building with a 9-1 leader, you know, having schnapps, you know, and getting a couple of pretzels. So.
I mean, to be honest, for you to even approach any of these areas, these are all 12+1 shots everywhere, minimum. I don't care where you're coming from. And considering you got a stack of guys who broken, that's rough.
You know, in retrospect, I'm surprised I got as far as I did.
Yeah.
So,
after seeing look here and pausing, it's like, holy shit, he's got every unit on the map within like 3 hexes.
Yep.
And that's really tough. That's really tough. But you push forward. I mean, these guys you got your damn mortar going. This you just gotta tighten up that nutsack and just go forward.
Yeah.
You know? And you know, this is a good shot, right? This is a good shot. Why is it a good shot? Why'd you fire this guy here for? Sorry. Why'd you fire that guy first, Steve, versus the medium?
I knew more guys were coming to get adjacent to the medium.
Exactly. Hold your firepower. So
I figured I was going to save the big shot for somebody. If I needed to take it, I may have taken it with that unit if I didn't get much of a result with the first guy.
Right. So let's analyze this move. I'm not saying that move is bad. It was bad, John, but let's analyze this move. He's got he's got a broken leader here, so he can't fire. Let me zoom in a little bit. I'm not sure why I'm zooming out so much. It's just most of the actions on this spot right here.
The unit's broken. The leader is not.
Right. So you've got this guy here that can't do anything. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put like I'm just gonna put a DM on the whole stack so we don't have to look at it.
Okay.
So we've got essentially 3 hexes that we're probably going to attack him with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is our bread and butter right here. This bad boy, you want to blow this up, right? So this bad boy, because it's the most important move that you're going to have, when do I want you to move it?
Probably last.
Last, and I'll
because everybody else, but again, you know, that's probably 20/20 hindsight. That's not necessarily what I was thinking to do. I mean, I knew squad with a DC, that's going to get somebody's attention, and I figured, you know, if the medium, you know, lit up, okay, it might cost me that, but then I've got, you know, the stack down here that can move right up, and then probably take him out, you know, in either CC or advanced fire.
Right, and that's where we're going to come back from. So go ahead and hit the hide show pieces. I just want to show you that starter kit is a very porous map. This guy's got LOS to that location. So I just want to bring this part up that he's got LOS to that location. So let's back up a half. This is bullshit. He can see every single hex that you approach. It's ridiculous. So
I know.
Let's back it up just a second. Since now, does this guy have anybody else to fire at? Right, the medium has to cover like the whole front, right? These guys have yet to move if you move him first. So both of these guys know that these guys are going to move somewhere.
He could if he wanted to, because the squad up there had been reconstituted and it moved back in the same.
Oh, right, yeah, absolutely.
It has not taken possession. Maybe it did. Yeah, it has taken possession of the mortar.
Yeah, I think you got that back.
Yeah,
that was a good one. That was a good one there. Absolutely, good pressure there. Good pressure there. And guess what? And guess what? I think you can fire that mortar in the advanced fire phase because you didn't move it.
Well, but I picked it up earlier that turn.
But it didn't move. I'm not sure if SK has those rules. I just thought of that right now. But it doesn't matter. It's going to be hard to hit. You're only going to get one shot. But regardless. So
yeah, you can fire them, and I don't know if it applies here, but there is a modifier if you use an unmoved.
Yeah, it's supposed to.
Advanced fire phase. Yeah.
So we're gonna mark the
+2.
Yeah, we're gonna put the prep fires next to the guys that are going to fire. Okay, so all the guys on the right hand side are the guys that are going to be able to fire this turn. This guy can too. Again, starter kit maps, they have a tendency to be porous as hell. So we want the medium gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want the medium gone. And we could do it 2 ways. You can bait him with the demo charge, just like you said, John. If we put a guy here, if we assault move a guy here, what's going to happen? Who's going to fire? There's only, other than the medium, there's this guy and this guy going to fire. So like you said, 9-1 hasn't moved. He could easily jump over here, so he's got to worry about that. Most likely that guy will fire. Just the same reasoning why Steve probably fired this guy right here. So if you assault move one of these guys, like I said, this is just trying to bait that medium, because you want that medium to be first fire. You don't want a 16 shot. You want an 8 shot, just like we talked about over here. That is an 8. We don't like the 8s, but we have 8 morale. We should be able to weather the storm a little bit. This 8-0 is going to rally these guys next turn, so that's not going to be a problem. Or the 9-1 is going to come down. Somebody's going to rally this guy here, most likely 8-0. Mm-hmm. So if he gets first fired, that's fine, because if he's first fired, he can't fire here, right?
Right.
And then if he survives that, you can assault move a second guy in that location. Take the residual.
Think both of us were
right. Take the 4+1. 4+1 with 8 morale. You should laugh it off. If he rolls a 5, that means you need to roll an 8 to be pinned. You're fine with that. He has to roll super low. You have to roll pretty good, a 7, 50, whatever % chance, and you should be pretty good with a 4+1 residual. This guy's then saying, okay, if he took the residual, do I subsequent first fire here, or does he fire now at 4+1, or do I fire at 16 or 1 squad? You know, there's a whole lot of things he's got to worry about, because he's got so many units. He has to decide how he's going to fire.
Yep.
And if these guys survive, let's just say you move the other guy some other direction, then you move Demo Boy, right? So he blows him up. He's going to blow him up with a medium. Let's just say he blows him up. I don't know if he does or not. So he blows him up with a medium. guess what? You still have 8 firepower on him, and you get to try and jump in close combat. So,
Yep.
but if he gets blown up by some of the bullshit shot over here, obviously he may get shot at before, or maybe bait, maybe move the 9-1 over here, or bait one of these little shots so this guy can get in there earlier. Obviously, that's a good spot anyway. But you've got a couple units, and your partisans are coming up soon, so these guys probably won't be able to react to them anyway. So even if these guys break, they're pretty safe because they can route here, and 8-1 can get to them next turn, and the 4-2-6s can come up and build that wall. So their rally potential is extremely high, even if they break. So if they break, they're good. If it's okay, they break because they're sucking up firepower to give our DC a chance to get in there. But that's just kind of where I'm going at. Most important units, you kind of want to move last because that's all he's looking at. I'm telling you, he saw this stack and he blew that. That's all he's looking at is DC. He doesn't care about these guys, this guy, that guy. All he's looking at, probably, in my opinion, that's what I'd be looking at. And I'm looking at DC. I got to meet him right in front of his face. I know where that DC he wants to put it. And I'd be nervous. I'm not sure if you were thinking that, Steve, but I'd be nervous about that DC that close, especially on turn 3.
Yeah, I certainly didn't want him to try to place it.
Right. So I mean, obviously, that's just it draws a lot of attention. Same thing with flamethrowers. All right. So he gets good there, and you pass the morale check, good deal. He rolls an 8, and then a task check. Yeah, pass task check. I mean, this guy's
that's kind of key right there because is this when he melts his gun or is it later on?
I'm not sure.
There's a subsequent first fire where he melts that medium.
But I think it's a little bit later.
But this is beautiful. I mean, first fire, and nothing.
I think I remember John Assault moved into S5.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that might have been why I decided not to fire the medium right away.
Okay.
Because I knew he wouldn't be able to place the demo at that point.
Right. Now look how, you missed it on that. So he's fired like 5 or 6 times, and he's only broken 1 unit.
So
that's perfect.
In this particular movement phase and defensive fire phase, I had 16 IFT die rolls.
Wow.
I mean, John just kept coming.
Wow. And guess what? He only came with half the troops. And he generated that much excitement from the Germans. That's good. That's what we like to see, a 9 on the residual attack. We love to see those. And then he subsequently there's the mouth right there. There's the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. You FPF that, so that's a mouth there. And the medium comes up.
Oh, that did happen there.
And he gets excited on that one.
That got me a little bit excited. That's when I decided I'm going to chance it, push my medium a little bit forward and get it into the fight as well.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, exactly. All these guys are first fire. It's like, okay, we can push him up. He should be good to go.
Yeah, you've taught us well. We learned that sequence of movements thing very well from you. Trying to.
Yeah, and this guy's a big problem. All right, I mean, he's just a 8 firepower plus 2. You win here, you win this fight, and you win that fight. You win all these single engagements simply because your morale's higher than his. You got +1, he's got +2, but you got a rate of fire too. So it's either even or slightly in your favor by that singular unit. So that's a good deal. That's a good deal on that. And again,
until I found out that I didn't quite have the coverage against the Flak 38 that I thought I did.
Yeah,
he had line of sight to me, and that he used that real fast.
Yeah, so. those are tough ones. Those are tough ones. And your mortar goes up in the building like
here in R5 and R6. I remember at this point in the game, before he started moving the other guys down, I was really seriously thinking about some final protective fire against S5 and S6.
Oh, right. Right.
And I kind of want to get your take on that. I mean, I didn't do it, and I knew at that point that those 2 squads were likely going to end up in close combat. I mean, I do it later, and it backfires. Both of my units broke that final protective fire, and I didn't do anything to John's units. Right. But I was thinking about doing it here, and I opted not to. And I was just wondering if maybe taking that final protective fire shot was something, because at that point, technically, even if they broke,
Where they
maybe
first
they
of all,
can get out of there.
first of all, if they're broken, where are they going? That's the first question you have to ask yourself. When my guys
Yeah,
break,
and that's what I was
where are they
thinking.
going? That's the first thing you ask. Not can I affect them? It's when they break, where are they going?
Yeah.
Because that's
And I
why.
wasn't real comfortable with where they would end up going because I think they would would have ended up probably like in P5 or something,
Yeah.
or maybe this guy. No, yeah, they would have both had to have route directly west, I think.
Right. Well, you can go to the leader. What's the problem in going to the leader?
No problem at this point.
Well, he's
Well,
probably
I
he's
mean,
probably going to advance fire at your leader and DM those guys anyway. So,
well, yeah, and he's going to get in close combat, and if he wins, then they're going to be stuck there next to some good order.
So you just have to evaluate where he is. These guys are going to rally, right? I mean, these are 9s. He's got 3 9s. He's not missing 3 9s. That's a simple fact. These guys are going to rally. So if you do no damage on these guys, and these are all 4+1 shots, and if you find a protective fire here against the stack on in S6, you're only shooting one of them, right? In final protective fire. Like if he subsequent fire, you only shoot at one of them. The only guy that moved, and plus it'll be 4+1, and he has 8 morale. So what do you need to affect him? If you rolled a 5, he needs a morale check, and he's gonna laugh at that. So if you roll a 7, it won't even do anything, and that will pin you. So usually, what I like to straight up, if you can get an effect when you roll your morale, like if you have 8 morale, if you roll an 8, it doesn't break you. Can you still get an effect on that? And that's at least the break even point, right? Now, if he's in the open, if he's moving in the open, you might want to take that shot. But in my opinion, if he moves into close combat with you, that's not too bad, because what does that do for you? What does that negate for him? What did you just negate when he jumps into close combat with you?
Well, I mean, I got 3 of his units tied up.
No, what one statistic does that negate?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, on the final protective fire, again, the one thing you would negate is his morale, right?
Oh,
your half squads, like your partisans want to go into close combat as soon as possible, because morale doesn't play an issue in there unless he fires into it, unless he fires into his own melee, and at that point, 7 versus 6, I'd still probably fire into it. If he had 6 and I had 8, I would never fire into the melee. Well, actually, if I had 8 and he had 6, I would fire into the melee almost every single time. If it's even, like a 4-5-8 versus, or like if you had a 4-6-8 versus a 4-2-6, I fired into it all the time. My guy's not going to be affected like 30% more time. And if he breaks, he's dead, especially in the starter kit. So right here, I think, in my opinion, if you find a protective fire, that might be the wrong choice. That might actually flow the stem of the battle the opposite direction. If he jumps into close combat, like you said, he assault move there, so he can't place the demo, and he can't throw it, because I looked up in starter kit, there are no throwing demos in starter kit,
right.
which is the only thing I do in ASL is I throw demo charges in the advanced fire phase. I don't care if I usually have an 8 morale unit because they're elite. If I need to break a medium machine gun, I'm going to take an attack. So what? If this guy's broken, these 5 guys behind him are going to take it up. That's all you care about. So yeah, you would want to negate.
You'd think that, but this thing must have been a greased pig. I think I had a squad get killed and it dropped the demo charge.
Oh,
and
that's right.
there's about 3 times I rolled and I couldn't pick the thing up.
Right. So now, and again, from John's perspective, this unit does not want to go into close combat. Why? The demo charge boy doesn't want to go into close combat.
Ties up the demo.
Yeah, ties up the demo, and risks the demo. Even though it's even odds, whatever, it's still a risk that he might be able to capture the demo and throw it back at you or place it back at you. So this guy wants to get rid of the demo first, and then he could follow up in close combat. So yeah, it's a tough choice, but he has lots of fire. He drew lots of fire. He did exactly what he wanted to. He's in a really sweet position. 1 out of 4 squads failed. He got his medium where he wanted to. He's moved up the mortar, and he hasn't even moved the big boy in the back, the 9-1, nor his partisan. So this is a really successful attack right now. And he's got this guy up here. Hopefully he doesn't. His partisans are coming, fill in the gaps. And again, like Sean said, this is a good flanking force. If these guys break, these Germans don't get all fancy dancy and try to screw them over. Which is exactly what I had to do with my Germans down. I'd had this guy kind of come behind these guys or some crap like that. Because I moved them slightly differently. I think I did a practice shot here. And the Germans can come right in here behind him and maybe make it a bad day. He's pinned, which is even better. Because that means he has half firepower in close combat if you want to jump in close combat. And if you are, you're going to use these guys, right? One guy's going to here, or two guys here, or one guy here, or whatever you want to do. Because you're going to have three guys following that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look, it's pretty sweet right here. Yeah, absolutely. And oh yeah, absolutely. Why'd you move back one here, John? Instead of two.
Number one, I already had three squads stacked with the guy.
Yeah, not here. Yeah,
but you killed him. So.
But what else? What else you know? I know you know this is just a rhetorical question sort of thing.
Well, number one, it was going to basically build the wall, and the 8-1 was going to be able to do advance, and rally him next turn anyhow.
Absolutely. So. He's moving here anyway. You don't need to move back here. He's moving here anyway. Perfect. And it keeps you guys up in the front. Yeah.
After a year of listening to you, I remembered never move back further than you need to.
Exactly.
I remember nothing else. I remember that. So.
Nice. Now, I do like this. Even though you could have gone here and here, this is almost like I need to kill something. And it's the medium. And you need to take the medium out. Yeah. So, not a problem with that. You have 8 morale. These guys are DM'd. That's going to be a 12 plus 2. Not a problem. You should bounce it right off. This is an 8 plus 2. Not a problem. And this little bastard down here, 12 plus 2. Again, shouldn't be a problem with 8 morale units. If he rolls a 7, that's a 9. That's a morale check. You're passing that all day. 2 of those guys are all day there forever. And you've got 3 more squads behind. And guess where they're going? They're going to smash those guys.
Not yet. They've got to be rallied.
Yeah, so. Wishful thinking, right?
Yeah.
So we got a close combat, and you roll my perpetual 5 or 6. So, and you do smoke that guy in close combat. So that's
got lucky.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
That doesn't last long though.
That's okay. 11, 8. Okay, you got 2 of those guys. 11. Oh, 8. Oh yeah, 8, 4, 8, 4, 8. Okay, gotcha. Because I didn't see the rally as a slow morale check, so that's a rally roll. Okay, cool. So those guys again. This is huge. This guy, hell, you rallied that guy. Holy crap!
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it really surprised me. So I'm kind of feeling pretty good right now. Even though I've got the blue wall there, I've got all I'm going to get. So
right. So let's say you move both those units in S6 and they all broke, right? So 2 are broken here. What do you need to rally him with that 8-1? Since you knew he was coming up anyway. What's that rally potential? The 8-1 here with 2 broken 4, 5, 8s with DMs in rally terrain. Is it shit, or is it pretty decent, or is it great?
It's decent.
Yeah. 2 6s, right?
6 is doable.
Yeah, 2 6s. Yeah. You got 2 squads. You're gonna hit one of them, right?
Yeah.
Oh, unless you roll that, and then you're just screwed.
Yeah, that's.
But yeah, you're probably gonna pop one of them. The 8-1 probably isn't moving anymore anyway, and then or if the 8-1 does want to move like with these guys, the 8-0 comes down and rallies the next guy on a 10. Or 9. Yeah, they have 9 exactly. So he's rallying in the beginning of your turn, regardless what happens, because the Germans aren't coming over here. So he is going to be ready to go 100% of the time in your movement and prep fire phase. He'll be rallied in the rally phase, unless the German wants to squeak up here and then just if he's got one squad, he's gonna get blasted. He might want to do that. I don't know.
Oh, I think we just lost John for a second.
Oh,
from the audio side.
Yeah, sure. Oh, and the video too. So Craig's going berserk right now. Craig's screaming, "No!" And everyone in practice is looking at him. What? There we go. Oh, cool.
Hey, John.
John just had a pizza delivered.
I'm back. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Absolutely. So you're making this so far looking pretty good. You got position guys where you wanted to, and a couple guys on. One guy breaks, the other guy's pin. That's fine. A lot of good firepower there. Oh, break a guy there. That's good.
that was the shot.
This is where I did the stupidity with the mortar.
We fire for the building. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it happens. It happens. But you know that was a good plan. That was a good plan. No worries. If not there, then you just back him up here.
Too.
You know, if you don't put him there, you just put him there. And is he going to fire 4 even at 8 morale? And it's kind of the same spot. I mean, you're pretty defendable up there. So I mean, he has better targets to fire at anyway. He's got a medium. He's got 3 squads up his face. He's got a leader. There's
multiple choices.
Yeah, this is like a tertiary target to this guy or these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is. So it's whether he's here in the open, it's neither here nor there in my opinion. You know, now for where key central location point like this medium right here, and he was like bleeding everybody off and he couldn't set up there. It's a little different. But this is not a big deal. That's not a big error. You know, like I said, he could have easily just been up in this location and blasting the same people, doing the same thing. And with the same, slightly more vulnerable, but he's gonna have priority. Yeah, you're ripping the shit out of him now. These guys, I love this residual.
Yeah, I definitely got pinged here because I wasn't paying attention to those leaky line of sights.
Yeah, this residual is really good, really good, and I'm glad you guys remember to put the residual. Why? Because now these guys just can't flow over; they have to kind of go around. Guess what happens when he moves here? Guess what happens when you guys move to 06?
R2 waiting on him.
Yeah, R2, 6 -3, baby. That's these guys are not moving there, so the only place they're moving is over here. And guess what we got waiting for him over here? You know, he's going to make it here, but you know we've got a lot of units waiting to pounce on him. So yeah, the residuals. That's what I really like seeing. You guys are dropping your residuals very, very consistently. I don't even think that I've watched a video in the past month or so where you guys haven't plopped your residual down, and in the correct amounts, for that matter. So it's
Steve's better on that than I am. He always seems to remember the hindrance reduction for residuals.
Yeah, you'll get used to it. Yeah, you'll definitely get used to it. It's especially the hex side ones is the ones that really.
Yep.
You guys don't have to deal with it here, but that's really. I mean, you just got. There's a lot of things to take into consideration, but you just want that first shot to go through. So these guys route out, which is cool. Now he doesn't have a leader in the building, so any of the guys that he's broken, or especially if he breaks, then he's going to be in big trouble.
So that kind of influenced my next decision with those 2 squads, the guy in R6 and the guy in Q5. Right. I just throw him into close combat into R5, which is why that hex had close combat for a while.
Yeah, like for 4 turns. Yeah. Tell me about this route right here. What sucks about this route? I mean, in terms of you breaking and having to route. The route's fine. Well, I mean, the route's completely fine. What sucks about it?
Well, it took him away from a leader, and the 8-0 is already stacked with 3, and so we can't put him there. And so, but again, I didn't want to move any further.
Yeah. The 447 really screws up. Yeah. You know, the being able not to route here because you can't go through it. It just kind of sets you back a little bit. But
that was a self-correcting problem. That's the guy that spawns a leader. You know, on the
oh my God, that's funny.
On the next rally phase.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Steve gets nice and cozy. He thought that there were some fine Russian sniper women in there, and so he just jumps into the building. And you guys roll a 5 and 6 again, of course. So
yeah. Sure.
And so we get a kill and a miss. Oh yeah, the miss by 1. Okay. All right, those guys are tied up. Is this a bad thing, John? Is this a bad thing, John? Bad thing, Steve? What's good and bad about this melee in this location right now?
Number 1, I lost a unit. Number 2, he's not moving anything quickly, and I'm going to have 3 squads jump him real fast.
Yeah, you got 3 bad boys here. You got 2 bad boys here. These guys here. For all intents and purposes, these buildings are going to be yours by the end of the turn. And essentially, he has 16 firepower tied up in this melee. But he also has you tied up in the melee, which means this particular unit and the demo charge are still locked up. Yep. So that's still a huge plus for him. So it's a big plus for both you guys.
Demo charge is lying in the basement because the squad that had that got killed, and so that's the one that I was never able to pick up until turn 6.
So he had some good things about this location. It freezes that guy up. 1, he could possibly kill you both, which is Not perfectly likely, but at least he killed one. 2 if he does get you both. I think he went 2 to 1. But if you got, because he's going to get 1 at the end of this turn, and at the beginning of the rally phase, he'll be able to pick up the medium and the demo, and then possibly repair it. So essentially, he can get 2 very, very important support weapons out of this for the risk of 2 squads by killing you 2 there. So that's like a surprise birthday present, you know, if you should happen to get it. It's really worth it because there's so much goodness in that hex, you know.
Well, I did go 2 to 1 against the 1 unit because I figured melee dragging out may not be the worst thing for me at that point.
Yeah. Plus, guess what? You block the hex,
it's a
right?
melee, but it's not in a victory condition building, and you know, it's just obviously tying up my units, and I'm going to have to address the problem.
Right.
So
and you block the hex, so he can't take these 3 squads and go 2, 4, 6.
Yeah,
he has to go 2, 3. You know, get ripped out by those guys. So yeah, it serves multiple purposes on multiple levels. So very, very, very important melee, that one right there. Very important.
Yeah, sort of a mini tractor works right there. So
yeah, exactly. And here's John Snakes. Here comes.
Here's the leader.
An 8-0. That's nothing to spit at. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever had that happen to me.
Nice. It feels good. Feels good to get a leader, especially as the Russians. And the Germans.
I've got 4 leaders on the board right now. Can you believe that?
And they're all lined up right behind the assault lines.
Yeah.
So. Jeez. Oh, that's funny. So you're prepping. You're trying your damnedest to prep and break these guys. Where's he going? What's your thoughts on this mortar boy?
I want to push the guy that's DM'd out of the building.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I want him out of there because I want the squad to occupy the building. Obviously, knowing that he's not going to be able to use the mortar, but he's going to be taking shots, you know, at the flak 38 for the rest of the game.
Right.
And hopefully, you know, shooting at the 467 if he tries to cross through 06 or 05 heading towards the victory position.
All right. Excellent. Keep that in mind. The 06 and 05. Your 06 and 05 thoughts. So he pops them here. I think he gets a lucky shot here, right?
Yeah.
No, you stay alive. Good deal. Yeah, look at that thread. Yeah. This is the LOSs in this game are just sick.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a.
Well, I learned from John in the last turn. I remembered those when he wounded that leader. I was like, okay, those will go both ways.
Yeah.
All right. 2. Oh, you're right. And this guy hasn't fired yet. That's pretty brutal.
He will.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
But right now, he's got more of his squads in the melee than I do. So.
Now, who do you want to put in the melee, John?
My 4.58s.
Nope. Who goes in the melee?
I guess it should have been the partisans.
The partisans in there. Morale doesn't matter. You need firepower. Morale won't matter. He may fire into there, which is 50-50 maybe. But you want the partisans jumping in the melee. You want the 4.58s getting on the front line, taking the 2 morale checks and passing. Because the 4.26s are not passing any morale check. They need to be on top of units in there, and that's a perfect opportunity for that. But yeah. Is that open ground? Is that open ground hex right there? Oh, God, R4 is open ground. Jeez. R4? Yeah. This is one hell of a block right there. It's a good block. It stops your units from moving. But you're making good progress. A bunch of guys pushing up there. And you've got some guys coming down here. Oh, he rolls a 12. That's even better. Okay, cool. And more partisans coming up. Yeah, not being able to see X kind of hurts a little bit. It hurts and helps because you kind of want to do both. Oh, yeah, that's right. That guy got a route. Okay. And he's got a low crawl, right? Unless he wants to take interdiction. Good deal. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good risky move.
The rest of that guy's game essentially was just low crawling 1 hex.
Yeah.
To be a roadblock until he got someplace or was eliminated.
Yeah.
I think he gets eliminated in a turn or 2 for failure to route. But yeah, that was pretty much the end of the game for him. He was just going to low crawl and impede progress.
Right. Absolutely.
Which he did.
And these guys move here. And that stack. Oh, look at that close combat. Wow. That's amazing. Okay, good deal. That's looking pretty sweet right now. What turn is it right? What turn are we looking at right now? turn
I
4
think it's turn 4.
axis.
Yeah.
So just turn. So you have 2 turns, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have 2 turns left. This is getting, yeah, this is getting down to the wire. This should be a. This is
Yeah, I think
problem.
I made the remark to Steve about this point. This is where I wanted to be about turn 2 or turn 3. So
Yeah. Yeah. You see how that little melee screwed up your entire advances? Because if that wasn't there, these guys back here go 2-4-6 or 2-4 and advance.
yeah,
You know, and then or 2-4-6 with a leader, and then this guy gets killed in close combat. But I mean, he's got lots of firepower. But at least you're a little bit better terrain, and you can do your assault move, advance phase, or blasting, and then have your other troops over just essentially a little bit better assault. So that one little melee right there, this little hex right here, causes lots of issues for the particular Russians in here.
Mhm.
Again, your attack looks smooth, looks coordinated. Everyone's together. He really just has to sit back and fire at you, and you just gotta be able to blast him. Yeah,
and he does. Yeah.
yeah. God, the line of sights are not
Yeah.
very forgiving in this particular game. Not very forgiving at all.
So right about now, I'm envisioning John's next turn where all those stacks advance, and then I've got to decide if I'm going to prep fire and take shots back. The last thing I wanted to do was be stacked up in that last victory building trying to defend it from those 2 hexes alone.
Right. Right.
Because there's just so much firepower that could just advance in that line, and I wouldn't be able to shoot at them all. So
Right.
that was starting to concern me.
So at this point, when those stacks come up, and he starts lining up here, let's say he maybe breaks a unit or 2 or something like that. When he starts his assault, that's when you start doing all your final protective fire, because he's in shit terrain, and you've got to lay down residual as much as possible. And I think that's exactly what you did. Yeah, that little poor 7. That's a guy out in the open. That's even a line of sight too. Good lord, man, you can see everything on this map. Yeah, pick that demo up. You got a birthday present for Adolf. Moves him into here. Why'd you move in there, Steve?
So, again, just tie somebody up and try to delay. And I figured by not going with the leader because he's wounded, he doesn't really bring anything to the table. Because he'd be a 7+1. So even if it would be 1-to-1 odds in close combat, the +1 die roll modifier from the leader hurts me. So yeah, I was just counting on a couple rounds of melee to tie somebody up.
Right, right. Just slow him down. Another block like here. A one square block. Yeah, drop the mortar, go after the guy. Unfortunately, he DMs him. It's fine. Wow.
This is where I'm trying to bait some shots, because I need to start pushing as hard as I can.
Right. Yeah. And this guy got here. I mean, this is amazing that 426 got there.
Yeah.
So that's a gift. That's a gift. And so he DMs on the failed infantry fire table. And remember when you fire, it's a morale check. So if you fail ELR on that fire, you will ELR fail. I'm not sure if you did or not. I didn't even notice it.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
So,
honestly, I'm not even sure I looked at that.
Yeah, it is. By the time he breaks, it really doesn't matter too much because you're going to be a 7 round on the backside anyway.
So that was a 9.
Yeah, he would just put a 447. So it wouldn't have changed his backside morale if he had the potential to rally later on. I'm not sure if he did or not. But remember, it's a normal morale check and everything it entails.
Yep.
And yeah, the damn leader and the guy pins, right? God, I hate pins.
Yeah.
Pins are just I just hate pins more than break. I'd rather break than pin.
So S9 final protective fire, and he broke 2. So those are the 2 final protective fire shots that I did take, and got no result. Essentially, rolled kind of poorly.
So you got one more turn after this, right, John? Yeah, one more ally turn after this. On this move right here, this guy right here, I'll just make a comment on this one. He broke here. Since he got lucky, he's going to be entering this building, right? Most likely. I don't think he's pinned.
That was the idea, yeah.
This guy's going to route. He can he route there? Oh, you have to route first. So this guy will be gone, and then he'll go there. Okay, yeah. You can actually ignore that. Yeah, okay. I'm just trying to figure out a way where you can, like... Yeah, okay, all right. Trying to figure out a way to stop this guy from routing that direction, but you can't. So he's going to route away. I would, simply because you're a 6 morale, right? Because he's got to move again next turn to get to his final destination, if that's where you wanted to take him. I would consider taking him here because this guy's pinned. You got a 4-2-6 that's pinned in this location. Push this guy here, he's eliminated. And then you just advance to that location. So that guy's not like a roadblock like we've been running into in the middle. Get rid of the roadblock, you advance to the location, because you're just going to run back here anyway and come the back side most likely. Or the front side, or whichever side you want to be.
That was the thought, and hopefully, possibly, mess up some route paths, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But one of the things I was doing with flushing all those partisans out into the street was I was trying to bait a shot from the Flak 38, and it just never happened.
Yeah.
He hung on to that quite some time. I was looking to get that thing at least have a first fire going before I started pushing units into close combat where the 8.0 is at P5, because I just wanted to take him out.
Yeah.
And by the time I got there, I was sorry I did. But,
I have to tell myself a little bit, because at the beginning of this, that 467 did fire, and he was on top with a first fire marker. So for about 2 of your units' movement, I forgot about the gun.
Oh my!
Because I saw the first fire marker, and I was thinking, "Oh, okay."
And then,
right. And then I realized after the next move, I'm like, "Wait a minute, he can still shoot." So I put the gun on top so I could see him.
No. Your fire discipline. Fire discipline, Steve.
I got to come clean on that one. That was kind of ugly.
Balls, steel balls.
I kept thinking to myself, says, God, what does a guy have to do? How much low-hanging fruit I have to shake in front of him?
If only John knew, everyone would be charging that AA gun.
Yeah, I probably would have.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, that's why they got repositioned in that hex, because once I realized it, I was like, I better put that gun on top so I don't forget him.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Oh my.
Yeah, I would like to see you avoid the 2-2 with the 6 morale unit. That's all. And the difference would being he would be eliminated here. Obviously, he just got not much. He could route back here, maybe roll stupid snake eyes like you did. But
I'm pretty much at the low end of the spectrum of chances of success at this point, anyhow. So this is flinging the entire pot of spaghetti against the wall and see if any of it's fixed. So
I don't know, John. You got another turn after this, and you've got 2 units here with the demo, and you got your best leader up here, and you got this guy moving. Yeah. You got this guy moving. You can stack it up there. I can be honest with you. You get 2 residual firepower here. So I would look to see exactly where you fired right now. So right now, regardless of this move here, this is a little minor. You want to get to the excitement. So you've got a final fire. This guy's broken. This guy's broken. This guy's first fired, right? So this guy hasn't fired. Well, he's first fired as well. So where could you move units to fairly safely, mind you? Albeit we got a gun over here that you could try to bait out. But how can we bait that shot out? You tell me. You got a melee here. How can we bait this shot out if we wanted to assault this location? Right? How do we bait this shot out? Because we don't want it to shoot it over here. First of all, tell me where you can assault on the bottom side of the map, which would get you very close to your destination. Considering his fire status, this guy's first fired. He can only fire at closer units. What's the closest unit to this unit here in 07?
The one in Q7.
Yeah, 2 hexes away, right? 2 hexes away. So he can't fire over here. He can't fire into R6. So R6 from this unit's free.
He can go through R8 into Q9.
From where?
You talking about the guys? With
No. These guys are done moving. We're talking about what he can do with potentially other units approaching this line down here. So we want to try and bait this fire out. I think you were trying to bait it out. So you could bait it out any number of ways. To be honest with you, you could legit just run one of these 4.58s down the street essentially right at him. You know, to threaten here. He's probably going to shoot. If you move here, he's probably going to shoot there. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
I think that's what I do. I think that I take the 9-1.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And I just come down, and I stay outside of his covered arc, making him choose to swing that thing around.
Okay.
And so that's.
And what did he fire at? What was that attack?
That was IFE. That was 12. No, wait a minute. It wasn't 12. What was it? It was oh, I forget off the top of my head.
Steve, what'd you fire at that one there?
So the 4.67 final fired when they got adjacent, and I think that put the 2 residual in there and maybe even pinned that guy.
Right.
And then I swiveled the gun.
That's right. And then it was the gun. That's right. So.
Okay. What's the gun's fire attack at here?
Well, he's 6 firepower normally on IFE.
Okay. He's adjacent.
But he's got one CA change.
All right. So what's that? This is exactly what one would see.
So that he subtracts. He adds 1 to his.
2. It was 2 because he was in the building.
That's right. It was 2.
Yeah, because we discussed that. It was a +2 shot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's a 12. Looks like a 12 +2. What about the defender? What modifier?
He's moving in the open, so it's probably 12 flat.
Yeah, but the pin guy probably wouldn't have to face the moving penalty anymore.
Right, the pin guy.
I don't know if we
gets no modifiers.
I'm sure we did that.
He's no longer moving. He's not moving in the open. So the pin guy's got 0 on him.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I think we missed that too, John, to be honest.
Yeah, we did.
So the swivel here is going to be a 12 +2 against the infantry, against the squad, and it's going to be a 12. Let's see, you got a +2 negates the move in the open. A 12 +1 against the leader. Because the leader's still not assault moving, but the move in the open doesn't apply because your covered arc changed. So it'll be a 12 up 1 against the leader and 12 +2 against the squad. Let's see what you roll. Maybe you missed or something like that. Yeah, I think you missed. I don't know what that roll was. Maybe a 9? Yeah, maybe a 9. Looks like you passed your morale checks anyway. You roll like a 7. But yeah, those. But this is perfect. So, given this sort of situation, he used his gun. Now, John, let's look back down the bottom and you tell me what window of opportunity just came up for you. You tell me. Look at the bottom. Don't look at this unit or this unit. I'm gonna hit these guys. I can't hit them. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna move these guys for now. Right. This guy's final fired. He's broken, so I'm just gonna move him. Right. And these guys are in a line. So those guys have no effect on your movement. They're all broken in the whole 9 yards. This guy.
R7 could advance into Q8.
R7. No, we're not even at the advanced phase yet. We've got this unit to move and this unit to move. How can we attack this particular location here? Remember, this guy is. Talk to me about P7. Tell me what you see in P7.
I see medium first fired with the squad, and then another squad with a light machine gun.
Okay.
Who's
the threat when we're moving? Let's say we want to move the 4.58. Let's say we'll move the 8-0. We're just going to use the 8-0 with the 4.58. And this guy can move too as well, the demo charge boy. So we've got those guys that can move. What threat is this guy to any sort of movement? Let's say we move demo charge boy 2, 4, or 2, 3 to this location. Take it 2 -2 on the residual, which 8 morale, we should be okay, right?
Yeah.
2, 3, and then we're probably going to advance into Q8, right? You know, that's
Right.
reasonable. That's reasonable. 2, 3. So we're out here at 2, and we want to move him first. We want to move him first. Okay? Because he's definitely going to draw fire. Guess why? Because he drew fire last time when the demo charge was here.
Yeah.
He draws fire. He's going to draw fire. Now, we can either want him to draw the fire or be the recipient of somebody else drawing fire. But the problem is you can't CX, and you cannot get to Q8 this turn.
Yep.
In terms of moving, you can advance there, but you can't move there. So
Right.
this guy's first fired. Can this guy fire at any other location other than adjacent? Because you got a broken unit, which you just smartly used to suck up firepower. His first fire cannot fire anything more than adjacent. So his 9-1, his medium, and his 4-6-7 are out of that the fire chart. So the only thing he could fire over in this entire location is a 4-4-7 and a light machine gun. That's the only thing he could fire on this street at these 2 locations. So tell me what you could possibly do with your 8-0.
Okay. After the
Both of these guys.
DC squad has pushed down to
Oh yeah, the DC squad.
R7.
Yeah.
Yeah. Push him down first.
All right, so
And
he
then,
can go 2-4. Might draw fire.
so,
He might draw fire. If he doesn't, then he'll probably get the Q8 for free, right?
okay. And
And essentially the 8-5-8 and the 8-0 can make it there as well, right? 2, 4, 5. Right?
yeah.
And so the 4-4-7
Put
most
'em-
likely
put
will
'em all
first
there.
fire. Most likely the
Yeah.
4-4-7 will first fire. It'll have the same residual firepower because 6 drops down to a 2. So it's not going to increase in firepower. So he's going to take the same residual firepower after he essentially this guy doesn't get to shoot it, this guy. Somebody
Definitely not going to put him in Q7 because that's got 8 firepower in it right now.
Right, yeah, that we would avoid that. Plus, these guys can
Yeah.
fire on you again. We don't want that 9-1. That's
Okay.
not going to happen. But we can
Okay.
get the squad with the demo and the leader and the 4-5-8 into Q8 in the advanced phase relatively safely. The only thing we're dodging is a 6-2 from this guy, which is doable. I mean, it's doable. Unless he rolls that. But that's regardless, so that'll be dead. But even so, check this out. Let's see, he dies, he drops the demo charge, right?
Yeah.
And so this guy comes, boom, boom.
Got a leader, and he's got a movement factor
Yeah.
where he can actually pick it up if he wants to.
Yeah, he could either pick it up or some of these other guys could advance and pick it up later. Especially a 4-2-6. Imagine 4-2-6 picking up that demo charge. That actually might not even be as bad because your leader's going to be here with the squad. And let's say this 4-2-6 maybe advances here. This one guy goes up here, and then Valley Face he picks up the demo charge. And then let's say you start moving in your next movement phase. You move the 4-2-6 with the demo charge here, and then you place it. Is he going to fire on you?
Probably not, because a partisan squad with a demo charge, he's got to roll an 8 for that thing to work. And so,
well, he's just not qualified. Oh, because the partisan, he's not conscript, but the partisan be an 8. But that's okay, right? Because we need like an 8 anyway. If we roll a 10 or 11, we're probably not going to get much to it. But that's okay. That's okay. It's going to get more firepower than his 4 firepower, right? So the idea is
yeah.
At this point, you don't need your 4-5-8s carrying that thing because he'll fire at your 4-5-8s. You don't want him to fire at your 4-5-8s. You want his big stack to fire at the 30 firepower for the 4-2-6 because he knows he could probably break it. So somebody's going to fire at that guy, which pulls off firepower that might be, you're only going to have a squad here and a leader, assuming the 4-5-8 got killed right there, right? And you have these 2 squads. And then you've got a squad over here that might go into here. I mean, it's tough. What I'm saying but
yeah.
The idea is when you saw all those first fires and the broken units, actually they're not even fire, and the broken units.
Yeah, it was pretty thick down there. I mean, it was just just a forest of DMs all over the place.
Yeah, and it's hard to see.
And quite honestly, I didn't even pick that out of the fur ball down there. It's just okay. It's at that point it looked like it was throwing more good money after bad.
Right. But just
So,
just make sure you look at your opportunities for movement because that's exactly what you did with the 4.26s. You want to draw his fire, and you did that.
Yeah.
You did exactly what you wanted to do. Now, can we take advantage of his like doubles? You know, he rolled 12s, or I think this guy cowered or some whatever. You know, sometimes they might cower, double cower, and then be restricted. As long as they don't die when you break next to him, that's perfect because that means you can move all around him. And unfortunately,
Yeah.
guys, you have to advance here anyway. You actually can't even move there because he's in that hex. But essentially, because it looks kind of grim right here, but your only real risk is a 6-2 and then a 2-2. The first guy's going to take a 6-2. So is it still bad? Nah, they're not great charts. I mean, we don't really want to do that. But I'm thinking that this guy and this guy can take care of this building here, in my opinion. So these guys are going to secure this. And
well,
then,
you would think that, but the way it
oh,
worked out.
let's see how this melee goes. Yeah, let's see how this melee goes. Advanced fire, yeah, and then you have the advanced fire as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
They got routes. Okay, you got the leader there. You get the leaders in perfect positions because they're ready.
Yeah.
They're just right behind the line. They're not 12 hexes back. And and you guys, and look at all those guys just funnel right to them. That's just a piece of work.
Right.
That is a piece of work. And he
All
runs
that
up
good
there.
training. And this is the one thing that really broke my back. Look at what happened to this melee in the P5.
Oh man.
This close combat.
Oh, this little bastard should route it, but that's all right. Oh, what? Oh, double kill? Oh, snake eyes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the
Against
wounded
the
leader.
wounded leader.
Oh.
A wounded leader takes out a squad.
Again, the close combat is something that you just want. You really, honestly want to avoid, unless you want to tie guys up. Yeah, I learned that last night as well. That bitter lesson of close combat is not your friend most of the time. But hey, all those little bastards are gone. So, and this is amazing. This guy right here is just simply amazing. That's a good deal. Unfortunately, you're a pin. The pin sucks. If you are not pinned,
I missed that guy in Q8 not routing.
Right. If you were not pinned, I mean, obviously you just jump in there and it's game on at that point. You know, that's a sweet spot right there because then you just take that thing out most likely. And then during his turn, I think you didn't growl at anybody. Pin. Oh wow, and he missed your squad. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, then he got him. He got a second shot. Okay, but he had to blow everything on him.
Yep.
And this guy here, that's fine because you got this building under control. And you've got to get some good rallies, unfortunately.
And this is where Steve does something just really great with his advance move. He just basically lines up everybody in the street.
Yeah.
So so
yeah. At that point, it's just the game is over right here.
Game's over at this point. But I finally get to in Q6 guy finally picks up the damn demo charge, and I get to use it against the squad right next to him. And so that was the one salve I had on the whole end of the game. So
there you go. Yeah, the 4-6, absolutely. Yeah, once he blocks it like that, it's a matter of just rolling dice just to have fun. Yeah, so he just blocks it off right there. So, again, I like the attack. I like both things of what you guys did. Obviously, a couple miscues here and there, but again, don't worry about the mortar. Well, the mortar's here or here, the effect is the same. He's only going to be fired up by a couple guys, and he wasn't a priority target. So whether he's there or up there, it doesn't really matter. But you guys caught that, so it's not a big deal. The only other points that may have made a difference in this super long run, but you never know. Make sure you spread them out evenly. Remember, demo charge one guy, stack one guy on him, and split them up because you gave him no choice but to fire on the big stack.
Sure,
you gave him no choice. If it was split evenly, then if he breaks one stack, he's still gonna take it in the pants with the other 16 chart. So it's like, I might want to run away now. Now it might be time to get out of Dodge. And so that makes him make a decision, Instead you gave him a good target. Obviously, 12 with a morale check. I mean, it's 8 morale. Most likely one guy will break, one guy will pin, one guy will be okay. But at least, you swamped that building pretty decent. And then You did really well with your 4.26s in trying to draw us fire. Some guys survived, some guys didn't, but that's, you know, the first fires came out. And
that was an excellent point about using the conscripts, you know, as cannon fodder in close combat, because I had the wrong thinking on that one. I would have thought that, yeah.
Right, and we're gonna revisit that in just a second. So he blocks you off here. So right at the end stage, what's the problem that you see that you have to overcome right at this position, and like maybe a turn or two before then? What was the biggest problem you had to deal with here? The sheer volume of units, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Sheer volume of units. So if you come from one direction, all he has to do is line guys up, just like you line guys up.
Right.
Now, let's revisit this. Again, you did well drawing this fire over here to try and get, you had to make a move on that one there. And especially since these guys were going down here, you could have made some other moves, but it's tough. It's a tough spot to do. Sometimes you can't see things, no worries. But you did the best you can. I would have loved to have seen those demo charges come into play earlier, but those guys were either broken or pinned or something like that half the game. So, I mean, that's just one of the things that happens. And that's another reason why my philosophy of demo charges has changed, is because they draw so much fire. Use them at targets that if you break them, it can either put a crack in his armor, or, you know, if it's a machine gun, or if it's just a leader, you know, maybe it's a leader, like in an area, like the leader you had over here. Let's say, for whatever reason, he had like 3 or 4 squads over on the left-hand side, and you attacked over there, and you demo charged the leader in a 4.47, and he broke, and he rots away the hell back here. Now these other guys are screwed. First of all, they won't have the mobility of the leader if they hook up with him, and 2, if they break, they're going to be easily to be pretty nailed. So the demo charges on the smaller units like that have a lesser, essentially direct, it has a direct impact, but it has a less dramatic impact initially. Like if you put a demo charge on the AA gun, you get a snake eyes, it blows up, the whole building explodes, and everyone sees fireworks for like 20 miles, you know. but that's fine. But maybe, you know, just throw a demo on him just to browbeat. Sure, it's a good unit, but just to break that unit so other guys can run by him is really good.
Right.
And so you had it where you wanted it. You just kind of broke. I mean, that's all there's to it. You were going to place it there. You've never got the opportunity to. So the demo charges were just kind of there. But because obviously, you know, the best place to put demo charges would be in these buildings versus these buildings. Yeah. And why? Why is that? Clear the map, clear the units. Why is it? Why would you rather use your demo charges in the P5Q5 area versus the 07 P7Q8 area?
You've got better out paths in case your placing squad gets broken.
Right. And what else do you have?
Placing them from cover.
You get a little bit better cover. You're placing them from open ground here. Here you're placing them from woods or maybe another wooden building. And so you're more likely to get them off here. And if you blow these up earlier, that gives you more time to break units and so on and so forth against these guys. This is going to be a tough build anyway. So a lot of guys have the philosophy of saving them for like the ultimate, you know, end game Hollywood movie. I'm going to blow up the whole base with all my C4 and the whole 9 yards. A lot of times that doesn't happen. And again, that's the same philosophy I have with flamethrowers. You know, if I got a flamethrower, am I going to want to use it against this guy? Hell no. I want to torch this son of a bitch right here. If he breaks and my flamethrower's gone, these guys fled through a turn earlier. Even if my flamethrower is going to be gone. That's the same thing in the War of the Rats. Everyone likes to hold on to the flamethrower. It's a support weapon. Use it. You've got enough squads to back things up. Use it to crack an area that's going to be slowing down 2 to 3 of your squads. This guy here has got four hexes that he covers. 4 hexes of point-blank shots that he covers. So, you know, we need to crack that nut. And you tried to. All right, well, there you have it. I think this is a very fluid, kind of a fantastic scenario. The Germans can set up practically anywhere on the board. The Russians can practically enter anywhere on the board. And, you know, the reinforcements also come from the entire way on the bottom. Yes, both locations are right in the middle, but you can come from different angles. And to be honest with you, I think it's almost a nightmare to set up. You know, 2 hexes from many buildings could be kind of crazy. I think both the players did really well in approaching the game, sticking to their game plan, trying to make their game plan work. And for the most part, both players succeeded in getting their game plan to work. You know, John wanted to come through the forest, came through the forest, had a couple snags, made his headway, took the 1 building. Steve brought his forces back over. He covered the entrances where he needed to cover. And then as he saw the attack progress, he adjusted to the attack and made certain adjustments to make sure that he can, you know, massively maintain a defensive stance in that position. Both players played really well. A couple miscues here or there. We don't care too much about those. They really didn't make an impact on the game. So solid play, residual firepower, very important to remember. Key decisions. Do I go in close combat? Do I not go in close combat? Do I move adjacent? Do I not move adjacent? You know, getting into key positions is really important in this particular scenario. I'd love to see some other plays of this one, just to see different perspectives, because I think it's another dynamic scenario, sort of like the Legio Patria Nostra that we mentioned in the video, where you might actually have varied attack plans based upon the different plans that the players are going for. John likes to go through the trees. I threw an example of maybe coming up over the hill, but then I reflected back upon John's position in R3 in the wooden building, which gives him a +2 modifier. That would have given them the same impact as 5 squads that I had when I thought a different attack coming on the hill might prove a little more effective, but I don't really think it would. I think there's more risk involved in that with more units. And John's position of R3 could cover those units reinforcing the side. He happened not to get there, but the plan was absolutely solid and spot on. So play the game. Remember, it's your plan that matters. Try to make your plan work as best as possible. And that's all that the difference that it makes is keeping your flow, keeping your game style active and alert and headed towards victory. And then you'll be able to make adjustments in your style. When to go crazy, when do I go conservative? You know, when do I just kind of like keep it mellow right in the middle? So things like that are what we're all about, what we're looking for. Just taking what plans that you have and try to make sure that you're most effective at the way you like to play. Thanks a lot, guys, and we'll see you next time.